The first transmission from the Galactic Council wasn't a greeting, it was a command. Humanity will cease expansion beyond its current star systems. Submit colonial oversight files. Surrender all military FTL hardware. Non-compliance will be corrected, the words weren't spoken. They were imposed, broadcast simultaneously into every diplomatic channel, into space relay networks, even piggybacked on weather satellite frequencies. Every world government froze. Every orbital station paused. Every listening ear went silent. In the Terran Directorate War Room, Admiral Callista Reyes stood perfectly still. She was not the loud kind of leader. She didn't shout. Didn't grandstand? Didn't need to. She simply stared at the hologram. A writhing mass of alien symbols slid across the projection, reshaping into a single universal meaning. Surrender sovereignty. Around her, representatives from the Directorate, the Martian Commonwealth, the Jovian Accord, and the Lunar Free Assembly murmured in disbelief. "This isn't a diplomatic overture," someone whispered. "It's annexation," hissed another. Reyes exhaled slowly. Her scars, thin silver lines along one cheek, caught the blue light from the hologram. "They didn't ask," she murmured. She reached for the reply console. Her voice was steady steel. "Transmit this." "No." A junior officer blinked. "Ma'am, just that?" Reyes nodded once. "One word is enough." The message launched across the void of space, encoded in laser pulses. It cut through the Council's broadcasting web, bypassed automated language filters, and hit the chamber where the Council sat. The Council didn't reply. Galactic Council, Hive, Chamber, Orbit of Silkar Star, Neutral Zone Imperator. Vylor. Shirun had not moved in 8 minutes. That alone terrified his staff. Valor was 9 centuries old, ancient even by Council standards, a being grown inside the decision echelons of the Hive Authority, molded by millennia of absolute order. He had overseen the assimilation of 4,262 species. His mind did not accept anomalies. His 3 translucent pupils flickered as he replayed the message again. No, he almost admired the arrogance. Almost. Around him, the chamber pulsed with voices, hissing, clicking, vibrating, chiming, thousands of species speaking through the Council chorus. Their unified voice echoed, "Humanity is young. They will submit." Valor's tone was gentle venom. "No species has ever refused the Hive Authority. Not once. Not in 50 millennia." A trembling aide attempted to explain. "Perhaps they misunderstood the—" Valor's gaze snapped toward him, pupils dilating. Misunderstood? The message contained only imperative clauses. There was no ambiguity. "They are refusing intentionally." "Why refuse inevitability?" the aide whispered. Valor hissed softly. "Because humans confuse individuality with worth." He touched the data node, projecting humanity's developmental record. Their expansion speed was accelerating beyond predictive curves. Colony arcs, AI-assisted terraforming, civilian-owned FTL-capable freighters, dangerous, uncontrollable. "Contact their leadership," Valor ordered. "Psychological negotiation protocols, present projected casualty simulations. Statistical inevitability should break their will." Earth, UTD War Room 2. Hours later, a new transmission materialized above the table. It wasn't verbal. It was visual. Human cities burning, orbital habitats torn open, colonies sterilized by energy bombardment, each projection annotated with Council statistical certainties. Probability of human defeat, 99.87%. Someone cursed under their breath. "They're threatening genocide." Reyes didn't blink. The Council messaging shifted again, this time showing a simulation of human compliance. Smiling colonists, prosperity, no war, no defiance. A voice, smooth and cold, echoed into the war room. "You are fragile. Conflict will erase you. Submit, and you will be preserved." Reyes leaned forward just slightly. "And if we refuse?" The hologram shifted to a sterile surgical symbol, a visual meaning used for species that had resisted Council correction. "Then you will be corrected." The quiet hum of the room became suffocating. Reyes, internal thought, they weren't negotiating. They were telling humanity to kneel, to surrender the skies they had bled to reach, to give up the right to choose their own future. Freedom wasn't a word to her. It was a scar, a graveyard, a battlefield she had survived when others didn't. Reyes straightened, hands clasped behind her back. Audio channel open? Yes, Admiral. She spoke calmly, dangerously calm. You mistake us. Humanity doesn't fear extinction. A flicker of confusion ran through several diplomats. Reyes wasn't finished. We fear submission. The Council didn't reply. Not verbally. The lights in the war room dimmed. The Council had locked every outgoing human transmission. Reyes turned to her staff. They're cutting our communications? No, ma'am, her communications officer said, eyes wide with dawning horror. They're caging them. Red glyphs appeared on every console. Transmission quarantine protocol. Hive authority override, though. Council had shut off humanity's access to the galactic network. It had begun. Reyes acted instantly. Seal comm relays, she ordered. Spin up Spearhead protocol. A buzz of alarmed voices rose. But Admiral, Spearhead is classified, Reyes finished. And waiting for this exact moment. What is Spearhead? Another asked. Reyes turned her head just slightly, her eyes hard. Proof that we never believed peace would last. Behind armored blast doors, buried beneath sovereign airspace, dormant systems awoke. Servers came online, deep space transceivers activated. Tactical AI algorithms began parsing predictive war models. Spearhead protocol. Authorized, the holo display changed. A map of human colonies, another of Council military supply lines, a third of vulnerable nodes, not for attack, but for cost imposition. One of her strategists swallowed hard. Ma'am, this protocol isn't designed to win. It's designed to make winning cost more than we're worth, Reyes finished. She looked at the war room, the diplomats, officers, heads of state. We don't need victory, she said. We need consequences. Final Council message. The next transmission from Valor arrived like a verdict. This is your last chance. Kneel. Reyes stepped into the center of the war room, straightened her uniform, lifted her chin. No. We will never kneel again. Her voice was not loud, but it carried the weight of every graveyard that paved humanity's past. We broke our chains when we left our atmosphere. We broke gravity. We broke limits. We broke expectation. Her eyes narrowed. Try to cage us. Watch what we break next. She hit send. Humanity stood alone. By choice. The alarm that signaled first contact combat wasn't a sound. It was a silence. The stars beyond the tactical wall display flickered one by one, blotted out as massive shapes emerged from FTL like obsidian fangs. A formation so vast it eclipsed the Helion star. 200 Council warships, each one capable of sterilizing a planet. Humanity had never faced a fleet like this. In the YE command citadel of the Helion exclusion zone, Admiral Callista Reyes stood with hands folded behind her back, calm as stone. Helion was not Earth. It was worse. A raw frontier system. Mostly mining rigs, drone ports, fuel refineries. Barely defended, perfect target. Behind Reyes, officers stared at the data stream with growing horror as the Council fleet spread into a planetary encirclement. We knew they'd send ships, said Vice Admiral Ishan Lee. We didn't think they'd send everything. Reyes's expression never changed. That's not everything. That's a demonstration. A broadcast opened. The hologram Vylor Shirun appeared, towering, shimmering, insectoid elegance wrapped in ritual armor. Admiral Reyes, you are surrounded. This system is already lost. His voice was smooth, certain, ritualistic. Yield and humanity will be integrated. With minimal correction. Reyes didn't turn toward the hologram. Speaks like he's reading instructions off a cereal box. Several officers choked on nervous laughter. Valor tilted his head. Why do you joke? Reyes finally faced him. because fear belongs to those who think they can still lose. Her officers flinched. Valor's voice sharpened. You cannot protect this system. Helion has no defensive superstructure. Reyes stepped closer, reducing the holographic projection to a reflection in her irises. Who said Helion is what we are defending? For the first time in 9 centuries, Imperator Valor blinked. Humanity deploys. The Spearhead Protocol rays issued one command. Execute Spearhead. A single technician hit enter. Helion's silent moon hummed. Giant squares along its surface unfolded, like origami made of steel. Panels rotated, clicked, locked. Thousands of microports opened, nozzle arrays, rail channels, plasma turbines. A structure the size of a continent came alive. Not a weapon, not a station, a factory. The moon spat out 10,000 metal objects within seconds. Sleek, compact, unpainted, drones, disposable, automated. Each one nothing more than a hull, a railgun, and a nuclear-tipped kinetic spear. Humanity didn't build ships to last. They built ships to die. Reyes gave the softest command, launch. Swarm! They went. A storm of drone frigates surged like a living cloud, dispersing, splitting vectors, micro-burning in random bursts to overload targeting. Council ships scrambled to respond. Valor's eyes widened. You fight with machines. Why sacrifice your ships? Reyes's voice remained soft. We don't sacrifice ships. Her eyes narrowed. We sacrifice expectations. First exchange. The Council opened fire. Beams of directed plasma sliced through space, white-hot lines that vaporized anything they touched. Dozens of drones vanished instantly. But drones weren't meant to survive. They were meant to multiply the cost of killing them. Council. Tactical AI struggled to generate. Lock order. Saturation level beyond tracking, reported one alien officer. We cannot acquire prioritized targets. Trajectory variance too high. Maintain discipline, Valor ordered. The Council had spent 50,000 years crushing rebellions. They'd never faced something designed to die. The first wave hit. 10,000. Kinetic spears fired at once. The missiles weren't guided. They weren't smart. They were fast. In vacuum, speed is the most brutal weapon. Spears tore past shields, punched through armor, detonated nuclear payloads inside ships. Council warship piercing light split open like an eggshell. Then another. Then 3 more. Admiral, confirmed kills. Council destroyers 6, 8, 12, and, holy hell, Battleship Garoon is venting atmosphere. Humanity had destroyed 5 warships, at the cost of drones built from recycled mining scrap. One technician whispered, "We cracked them." "No," Reyes corrected. "We made them bleed." Psychological warfare. Valor reappeared on a private channel. His hologram formed inches from her face. "You cannot win," Reyes leaned forward. "Why do you keep using the word win?" Valor's pupils constricted. "We are correcting a deviant species to preserve stability." Reyes stepped closer. "You impose obedience. We impose consequences," Valor's voice frayed. "These drone tactics cannot stop the fleet. Eventually, Reyes interrupted. "Every ship you destroy costs more lives and resources than we are willing to pay." She tapped the console. "Humanity does not need to win. We only need to make victory cost too much." Reyes transmitted the message on open Council channels. Every ship, every officer, every auxiliary, the Hive heard. Phase 2. Council response, Valor snapped. Close on their command ship, ram and disable. Human leadership is the weakness. Council vessels shifted formation. Reyes smiled faintly. "You still think we believe in irreplaceable leadership?" She issued one word. Anchor. On every drone, a fail-safe unlocked. In the Council flagship's command deck, a shrill alarm erupted. Seismic signatures detected. Drones attached to our hull. The drones weren't just attacking. They were boarding. Valor felt fear. It was a new sensation. "Remove them," he ordered. "It is too late. The drones detonated, not with nuclear force. With EMP overload." The flagship went dark. Gravity failed. Command links severed. Valor's mind fractured into static, as his own neural interface sputtered, and then thousands of screens across Council space flickered on. A human. Broadcast. Human voices. Human. Faces, unfiltered, uncensored, unrestricted. To every species listening. Freedom is contagious. Across dozens of worlds, gas miners, agricultural colonies, worker species, stopped what they were doing and stared. Reyes spoke directly to Valor. "We don't need to defeat you in battle," she gestured to the drone factory. "We defeat you in meaning." Council collapse begins 27. Council ships were destroyed, more damaged, a number irrelevant by Council scale, but unthinkable. Because those losses were caused by a species not yet fully interstellar, Valor demanded a tactical retreat. "We can still overwhelm them," his war officers argued. Valor stared at the wreckage, the red blinking icons. The fact that a drone had disabled a supercarrier through sheer physics and audacity? "No," he whispered. "We cannot win against a species that fights as though survival is optional." He gave the order he had never given in 9 centuries. "Withdraw." Humanity's unexpected move, Vice Admiral Lee exhaled. "We did it." "We drove them off." "No," Reyes said quietly. Everyone looked at her. "We didn't drive them off." She stared at the battle logs, studying something only she seemed to notice. They saw something terrifying. Lee swallowed. "What?" Reyes turned slowly, eyes sharp as a blade. "An idea. The idea that a species can refuse." The council chamber had never been silent in 50,000 years. Today, it was. 10,000 species sat in tiered concentric rings, each link in a chain of compliance that had ruled the galaxy longer than humanity had existed. The ceiling, usually alive with swirling maps of controlled space, displayed only one image now: Helion System. Council defeat. A red banner pulsed across the display. Loss event. Unprecedented. Data redacted. In the center of the chamber, Imperator Valor stood alone. His armor, which once shimmered with authority, now reflected only fractured light. "No species," Valor said, voice barely above a whisper, "has ever cost us ships." The chamber pulsed in response. Dissonant. Disrupted, unfocused. Representatives of scaled species hissed in panic. Gas breathers pulsed color warnings across their membranes. A crystalline delegate rippled in frantic staccato. "They are primitives," someone spat. "They have no right to resist," another snapped. A third voice, robotic and monotone, echoed with unsettling precision. "But they did!" Valor's jaw clenched, an unfamiliar sensation. Fractures of doubt crawled along his centuries of certainty. "They are spreading rebellion," Valor said. "Already 62 member species have refused tribute shipments. The chamber erupted. They embolden our servants. They threaten stability. They must be annihilated." Valor inhaled sharply, steadying himself. "No," he finally said. "They must be understood," gasps. Rippled like seismic waves. Valor raised a single claw. "Hive. Authority doctrine is obsolete." Silence followed. Shock, horror. The council existed because no one questioned the system, and now the system had cracked Earth. Terran High Command. 3 days later, Admiral. Callista Reyes did not celebrate victory. Breeds complacency, and complacency kills. She stood on the observation deck of the military spire overlooking Geneva. The sun glinted off the lake below, peaceful and beautiful, mocking the reality of the galaxy trembling beyond the sky. Her second-in-command, Ishan Lee, approached. 16 alien species have reached out," he said, handing her a datapad. "They want to defect. They want what we have." Reyes scanned the list. Vex mining syndicates, Coralite swarm workers, the drowned planet Solarium delegates. These weren't warrior species. They were workers, laborers, those whose labor funded the Council's empire. "They don't want freedom," Reyes said. "They want permission," Lee exhaled. "We could lead them." "We are not building an empire," Reyes replied. "We just want to be left alone." "Then why are we winning?" he asked. Reyes stared at him. "Because we are the only ones willing to lose everything." Council shuttle. Earth Orbit Valor's shuttle slipped into Earth's atmosphere like a wound being cauterized. He came alone. No fleet, no demands, no ultimatum. In the Terran Directorate conferencing hall, 2 armed guards flanked the entrance as Valor stepped inside. The alien towered, serpentine, structure rippling like carved obsidian. Reyes sat at the table, not with advisors, not flanked by politicians, just. Her power does not need audience. Valor studied her with all 3 pupils. You should have joined us, he said. You could have ruled beside us. Reyes leaned back. Ruling isn't freedom. Valor tilted his head. Freedom is inefficiency. It wastes potential. It breeds chaos. Reyes steepled her fingers. You don't understand freedom. I understand the cost, Valor replied. Reyes met his gaze without blinking. So do we. The proposal, Valor projected a document into the air. A treaty, alien glyphs shimmering like contained lightning. Partnership accord, not assimilation. Not authority. Coexistence. Humanity keeps sovereignty, Valor said. You keep your military. You keep your colonies. The Council will no longer dictate your expansion. Reyes didn't touch the document. And what do you get? Valor inhaled, a harsh scraping sound. We get proof the Council can change before it collapses entirely. Reyes stood and walked to the window. Geneva's skyline reflected against the glass, a jagged dance of light and shadow. You're not offering peace, she said. No, Valor admitted. I'm offering survival. For the Council. For order. For everything that was built before you. Reyes turned. I don't want your survival. He blinked. Then what do you want? Reyes spoke slowly, the sentence that had echoed through every colony, every soldier, every drone pilot. I want to walk away. Internal collapse. The moment Valor froze. You? Want nothing? Nothing, Reyes confirmed. No tribute. No oversight. No alliance. No bargains. We don't want a seat at your table, she said. We're building our own. The chamber trembled. Not physically, but in the space that once held inevitability. Valor's voice cracked. You don't want power. Reyes held his gaze. We want choices. The break the treaty shimmered in the air, awaiting signature. Reyes didn't touch it. Here's the only condition, she said. Valor stiffened. Reyes stepped closer, her presence a gravity well. Leave us alone. Valor looked at her, really looked, and saw something that terrified him more than losing ships. Humanity wasn't fighting to win. Humanity was fighting to be something the Council couldn't. Comprehend, unafraid of loss, unafraid of death, unafraid of standing alone. He bowed his head. Slowly, the bow meant submission, not hers, his the walk away a month later. The broadcast that changed the galaxy rippled across every relay in known space. Effective immediately, humanity withdraws from all Council proceedings. We are not your subjects. We are not your rivals. We simply walk away. Across the galaxy, the oppressed and the voiceless felt something new. Possibility epilogue. Other voices at a mining colony light years away. A worker species with fused hands dropped its tool as the broadcast reached their feed. Its voice quivered. We can say no? In a deep ocean world, a hive queen whispered, we can choose? In the Council chamber itself, Valor listened to the echoes of rebellion spreading like wildfire, chaos, freedom, choice. He whispered to himself, they didn't defeat us. They changed us. Final scene. Earth orbit Reyes stood on the observation deck of the carrier UTS Sovereign, watching the stars drift like quiet fire. Lee approached. Council fleet is leaving Terran space. Reyes nodded. Lee hesitated. What do we do now? Reyes smiled, small, quiet, unstoppable. We do what we've always done. She turned toward the stars. We go. Humanity did not bend. Humanity did not break. Humanity simply walked away.